Hey guys, today I'm going to show you a very exciting car that is coming to Norway this year and to Europe, which is called the Exlantix ET, an electric SUV that size-wise I think is perfect for a lot of markets. Price-wise, if they can come to Europe and to Norway at the insane competitive price they say they are coming to, well, this is maybe going to be one of the most exciting new cars of 2025 when it comes this summer, because this a little less than 5 meters long electric SUV with a battery pack up towards of 100 kilowatt hours gross and charging up to 400 kilowatts with a 10 to 80% time of less than 15 minutes. This car has some insane specs, and if this is going to be good to drive, as I'm going to show you later in the video, I haven't driven it yet, so I don't know. If it is as good to drive as it looks and it feels on the interior, this is something to look forward to. This whole day of filming, which was dedicated to making this review of the Exlantix ET, was very unorganized. And actually my whole week stay in China with Cherry Group or Exlantix was very unorganized, and things kept changing last minute all the time. During my 7-day stay in China, I was sent 3 agendas and none of them were correct at any point in time. So that of course affected the quality of my content, but also I wasn't able to show you guys the actual correct car. So the car I'm showing you in this video isn't actually the battery electric version. It is the hybrid range extended version, which I guess is close enough, but that's just a caveat to you guys that this car isn't actually the electric version that's coming to Norway and to Europe, but it is very close and should be very close when it comes to the interior and the exterior and the driving impressions. But okay, enough about that. The exterior styling, I think this is actually a very good looking car. So it's almost 5 meters long, but it doesn't look that big because it's actually very low. But I do think it does look good. It is very clean. It has a unique front and maybe a generic rear end, and also the profile may be a little bit boring, but I think that is actually correct in this segment of vehicle, especially for a European, a North European, and a Scandinavian market. I think the exterior styling is actually spot on, and I like it a lot, guys. So this car has the electronic doors, which is an option on this car, but I think it's going to be standard in Norway. So you just pull the door handle and it pops out, but I'm not entirely sure how it works, because even if I step out of the way, it doesn't open up all the way. But if I give it a little bit of a pull, it does extend all the way, but it can open up even more. And so that has not happened before. We've done many takes from different angles, so I managed to close it. Okay, but how does it open up all the way? Okay, it doesn't matter, but it has a servo. If I try to close it, it has anti-slam and it has soft close functionality. But if I step inside, it also has this button, so you can close it and it closes all by itself. But if I press it again, it doesn't open all the way. So yeah, not sure how you open it all the way, if that's even possible. So inside the Exlantix ET, the model we have today is a hybrid version that is coming to Europe, not going to come to Norway. To Norway, we're only going to get the electric version. And the car I'm going to drive later is going to be an electric version, but the Chinese model, because they don't have the electric European version available for test drive today. But basically the same on the exterior and on the interior. And you know, I was here last year filming this and also the ES, and gave the guys a lot of feedback, and they seem to be very interested in feedback before coming to the European market, because this has something completely new I haven't seen in any other ET model, and that is this physical panel here at the bottom of the touchscreen, where you have your HVAC control, so you have your temperature here for driver and passenger, and also you have a whole bunch of hard buttons here. You have your seat heating, which is just awesome. Applause Exlantix. I mean, that is just innovative now in 2025, because a lot of cars don't have that. And also your direction over here, your speed, your auto, you have your front heated windshield, your rear defroster, and also there seems to be like a programmable button here. So that is really, really nice, and applause to Exlantix for having that in this car coming to Europe. That is gonna be awesome. I really love the color of the interior. This white colored interior is just beautiful, but unfortunately I've heard that this color isn't coming to Norway. We're only gonna get black and beige, but please Exlantix, just let us special order this interior, because with this, you know, light colored wood trim, it is actually a really nice interior. So I like a lot of this interior. I like the design, I like the quality, I like the ambiance, the seats are comfortable, but I don't like the steering wheel. You know, I'm a fan of the normal round steering wheels, but it's fine. You have the screen on top, which just does look a little bit tacked on aftermarket, but at least when I put this steering to my position, the screen is very visible and legible. I can see the whole screen. So, you know, physical buttons here. You have your gear selector here. You have your washer and wipers on your left side here, your blinkers, window switches here. I'm missing mirror controls and also a physical knob for the steering wheel control, which I'm not a fan of, but it is actually very easy to use. If I just drop down the menu here, I have the shortcut available right there. And then you have physical buttons, so it is actually very nice and responsive. You just, you know, use this scroll wheel here and it responds right away. So that's really nice. And also with the mirrors, you press that, so your left controls is for the left mirror, your right control is for the right mirror. So you can do that very easily. So if you were going to have this functionality or mirror functionality and steering wheel controls in the touchscreen, this is the way to do it. Also headliner, really nice, this, you know, micro suede type of material. Overall, I'm really liking the ambiance of the interior, but this portion here looks a little bit weird, kind of like the Kia EV9, where you just have, you know, this flat dashboard. I wish just this would just connect, but it is very practical and airy. So far, so good. So let's hop into the rear and see how I fit behind myself. So it has the electric doors in the rear also with soft close. So I'm guessing that's the way they work. Okay, so this is a really nice rear seat. It is spacious, it is roomy, climate control down here. You have your air vents. So I'm just gonna put a little bit cold air to me. So I mean, this is pretty decent. So I'm about 5'11", 180 centimeters with shoes on. I have plenty of knee room. I mean, this is generous, and even the seat cushion isn't only long, but also you sit up the floor, off the floor. I'm gonna say this is one of the best rear seats I've sat in any car recently. And also there's even room for my feet underneath the front seat, which is not a given in 2025 with these electric cars, with, you know, this battery pack in the floor, these skateboard platforms. Really nice, beautiful materials here in the rear. The seat back is beautiful. This is nice. This is soft touch. It's just a really nice place to sit. And also this rear seat is reclinable. Oh, that is nice. I'm actually impressed. I don't remember the rear seat of this car, but this is really, really nice. Armrest here, dual cup holders. It's just a really nice place to sit. So this has a panoramic sunroof with a shade over. I think a lot of people are gonna like that. So, you know, this has a pretty long wheelbase. You guys have already seen the specs of this car. I don't remember them by heart, but it really shows how much room there is this way in this cabin, because you can sit here comfortably for a long trip. So let's check out the front, and I think you can open up. No, you can't open it up here. So maybe there's a setting to open up vehicle. There we go. It's just a little bit higher on the dashboard. So a nice clamshell hood, and you can open it up without having to unlatch it. And they say it has a frunk which is 61 liters, but this is the hybrid version, of course. My mistake. There's a combustion engine here, so I'm not going to be able to show you that. Maybe later in this video, so my mistake, guys. The ET has a towing capacity of 2,000 kilograms, and I'm going to open up the trunk. Should be somewhere, or maybe not. There should be a button down here. But where is it? Where's the button? Oh, the eye. Okay, thank you guys. Okay, so I think I had the same mistake last time. If you come closer here, You can see that this has a trunk which is 546 liters. VDA, you can even come a little bit closer, just come all the way. And it is actually a really nice size, and VDA measurement stops above or below the waistline. But you can see, because this is a traditional SUV, there's actually a lot of capacity above here. Let's see if there's any underfloor storage. No, not a lot. So 546 liters, I think that is decent. A car that's a little bit less than 5 meters long, but it's not the tallest car. So it's not like, you know, an EX90, it's a class smaller. And also, you know, pricing is going to be a lot cheaper than an EX90. Also, total cargo capacity, 1,835 liters with all the seats folded down. And you have buttons here that you can press to fold them down and fold them up. Okay, so if you press this once and this, the whole thing folds down into the floor. And yeah, that is actually a very decent space. You have that, you know, that length of the car really comes into play, but it doesn't go completely flat, as you can see. Okay guys, just a quick test drive of the Exlantix ET on some back roads here outside of Wuhu, and not sure where we're gonna go. So I've been riding as a passenger, you know, a little bit in this car. So back seat, comfortable, spacious, as you guys saw earlier from, you know, the interior part of this video. And you know, it's a big car, it's wide, it's long, it's not like super tall, but this car on 20-inch wheels and air suspension is actually pretty comfortable. You know, it is set up quite softly. And let's see if we have, you know, different vehicle settings here. Driver assistant driving. So we're now put it in comfort mode. There we go. There we go. I mean, it is wide, like it's quite tight here. So, you know, it started the test drive here on some cobblestone covered streets. Or a parking lot, and you know, you can feel the suspension working nicely. You know, for being this type of vehicle at this price point with air suspension, I think it is actually set up the right way. It's set up, you know, soft, unlike something like the Xpeng G9, which I think is a little bit too stiff, or the Zeekr 001, just a little bit too stiff for being, you know, air suspension. I want in an SUV, especially in comfort mode, a ride that is, you know, wafty. Of course, this is just a short test drive. You know, I'm not going to be able to give you guys my proper driving impressions with this car until I have it back on Norwegian roads. You know, assessing road comfort and also tire noise and stuff like that is going to be hard on roads where I'm not familiar. But, you know, actually pretty quiet and pretty comfortable. Put it into eco mode there. Yeah, I mean, it's quiet, it's comfortable. Back into sport. I mean, it feels fast. I'm not going to be able to go quickly, but on this road, it's nice, it's wafty. Steering also weighted nicely. Doesn't feel weird. Maybe we can go a little bit faster here. Yeah, I mean, again, not going to be able to drive it on the motorway, but the road as is here. This is not a smooth surface. A little bit of twisting, a little bit of turns here. I mean, this isn't bad. This isn't bad for being at this price point. Remember, guys, this is competitively priced. I've heard rumors in Norway, spec for spec, about 50 to 100,000 kroners cheaper. You know, that's about 4,000 to 8,000 euros cheaper than the equivalent Xpeng G9. And I think this drives better. It feels more solid. The suspension is set up more correct for this type of vehicle. Soft, comfortable, but still controlled. I got to drive this on a track yesterday, actually. This and the ES sedan. And, you know, none of these are any sports cars. Of course, none of them are any track cars. But, you know, safe, surprisingly competent. and it does what you want it to do. And here again, not sure about the asphalt quality, but it does feel very quiet. Yeah, this is looking to be good. So there we go, guys. That is my test drive of the Exlantix ET, or the Exeed ET. And again, as I probably said throughout this video, I thought we were going to drive the electric version, but they only had the range extended version available, but I drove it in pure electric. But it is the same car, and hopefully, you know, the weight penalty of the electric version won't be, well, too much to affect the driving dynamics. But then yet again, you know, I wasn't able to drive it on anything than, you know, some back country roads here just for a quick and short time. So I'm gonna have to wait until I have the car on Norwegian roads, but so far, so good. You know, I think the car is the right size. I think the interior, very few flaws with the interior. You know, a lot of these, you know, skateboard platform cars, the back seat is weird, you sit too low, or there's no room in front of, you know, or underneath the front seat for your feet. This doesn't have any of those issues. And if they can price this correctly, I think it looks great on the exterior, it looks great on the interior, and it drives really nicely. The suspension setup, soft, wafty, compliant, and that's what I want from a large electric SUV. So let's just hope the pricing is as competitive as they say it's gonna be once it comes to Norway and once it comes to Europe, and that it can deliver on the charging speed, that it gets, you know, battery preconditioning and all the niceties, and that the ADAS features work as well as cars we've seen from Germany. So the jury is still out. It's not conclusive in any way, this review, but so far, so good, and I am positive. I think this is a very interesting car. So guys, let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think this is something you're going to be excited about? Are you looking forward to test drive this once it comes to Norway and to Europe? So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please drop me a thumbs up down below. And for more car content, as always, please subscribe. See you guys later and goodbye.